In this episode, Tesla's new Roadster is actually real, The Boring Company gives a new meaning to remote work, and FSD surges in Europe. After over 8 years of prototypes, delays, and speculation, details on the next generation Tesla Roadster are finally being revealed. This week, Tesla VP of Vehicle Engineering Lars Morvai and Chief Designer Franz von Holzhausen confirmed during an appearance on the Ride the Lightning podcast that the new Roadster will be built at Tesla headquarters in Gigafactory, Texas. Morvai told the host, "We can say it's going to be built in Texas. We've made first plans on that, and you start to see a lot of things start to unfold in the next months." That is a little more than just another vague teaser. Allocating production space means tooling, engineering validation, and factory planning are finally converging around a real vehicle program. For a car that has spent the better part of a decade floating somewhere between legend and vaporware, that is a significant step forward. It's important to note that the Roadster's production plans have evolved alongside Tesla itself. When the car was first unveiled, Tesla expected it to be built in Fremont. During the Q2 2020 earnings call, Elon Musk stated that the Roadster would make sense as a California-built product. But Tesla has changed dramatically since then. The company has increasingly concentrated its newest and most ambitious programs around Texas. Cybercab, Optimus, the Terafab, and now the Roadster are all calling Giga Texas home, and in some ways Texas feels like the perfect place for it. SpaceX's most ambitious rocket Starship is proudly made in Texas. The Roadster is Tesla's most ambitious car. If the Roadster is truly, as Elon Musk confirmed in 2024, a Tesla/SpaceX collab, then there is no more fitting place on Earth to build it. Because over time, the Roadster stopped being just a sports car, it gradually evolved into the very definition of a halo project. The Roadster was first unveiled in November 2017 during Tesla's Semi event. At the very end of the presentation, Elon Musk surprised the audience by revealing a red Roadster prototype from the back of the Tesla Semi trailer. Its specs sounded almost fantastical at the time. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 1.9 seconds, 0 to 100 in 4.2 seconds, a quarter mile in 8.8 seconds, over 620 miles of range, a top speed exceeding 250 miles per hour. In 2017, those numbers felt almost impossible for a production EV. Musk described the Roadster as a hardcore smackdown to gasoline cars, and back then that honestly did not feel like an exaggeration. Interestingly, that's also a role that the Roadster already played once before. The original Tesla Roadster, produced from 2008 to 2012, proved that electric cars can be desirable and better than gas cars. It is effectively the car that started Tesla. Without it, there would be no Model S, no Model X, and likely no modern Tesla as we know it today. The second generation Roadster was supposed to push that legacy even further, but then the delays started. Tesla originally planned Roadster deliveries to start in 2020. That never happened, and over time, something interesting happened to the industry around it. The world caught up. One of the first vehicles to reach the Roadster's original targets was, ironically, Tesla's own Model S Plaid. When it launched in 2021, the much larger and heavier sedan achieved roughly the same 1.9 second 0 to 60 time Tesla originally promised for the Roadster. It also introduced the Roadster's planned tri-motor setup, but in a far more practical package. After that came a wave of extremely capable competitors. The Rimac Nevera pushed acceleration even further, the Lucid Air Sapphire entered sub-2-second territory, Porsche's Taycan Turbo GT with the Y6 package reached similar performance figures as well. Even Xiaomi's SU7 Ultra eventually achieved a claimed 1.98 second 0 to 60 mile per hour time at a fraction of the Roadster's expected price. That completely changed the problem Tesla now faces with the Roadster. In 2017, the original specs alone were enough to shock the industry. In 2026, simply matching those numbers would no longer feel revolutionary, and that may explain why the project itself appears to have evolved so dramatically. Over the years, Elon Musk repeatedly hinted that the final Roadster would become something far more extreme than originally planned. In 2018, he mentioned an optional SpaceX package that will use small cold gas thrusters around the car. Unlike traditional rocket engines, cold gas thrusters use bursts of high-pressure gas. SpaceX uses them to stabilize the Falcon 9 during re-entry because they are very simple, safe, and great for quick adjustments. According to Elon, tiny cold gas thrusters should help with the Roadster's acceleration, braking, and cornering. He also joked that the Roadster might be able to fly. More recently, he claimed the Roadster could hit 0 to 60 in under 1 second. He said, quote, "There will never be another car like this if you could even call it a car." That statement hits differently once you understand the full context, which Elon shared during Tesla's first quarter 2026 earnings call. When asked about Tesla's future products, Elon said, "Over time, it's going to make sense for our whole lineup to be autonomous vehicles of different sizes. Long term, the only manually driven car will be the new Tesla Roadster." This means the new Tesla Roadster is not just trying to be the fastest, best driver's car in the world, it is trying to be the last great one before the age of autonomy fully arrives. What if your movement felt effortless? The Hypershell X Ultra is the world's most advanced outdoor exoskeleton built to enhance how you move, not change it. It's powered by an AI-driven system that adapts to your stride in real time, delivering precise support with every step. Whether you're climbing, going for long walks, pushing through a workout, or even lifting and carrying heavier loads, it reduces the strain on your body while keeping everything feeling natural. And the performance gains are real. It's SGS certified to reduce physical exertion by up to 39%, while also lowering your heart rate during activity by up to 42%, so you can train longer, move more, and recover faster with less fatigue. You get multiple adaptive modes for different terrain and activity types, a range of up to 30 kilometers on a single charge in eco mode, and a lightweight build using carbon fiber and titanium. Everything about it is designed to feel seamless. You move, it responds instantly. Check the link in the description to get your own Hypershell X Ultra and unlock a new level of human performance. The Boring Company shared a fascinating update this week that revealed just how much its tunneling operations are evolving behind the scenes. In a short video posted online, the company showed one of its Prufrock tunnel boring machines actively digging underground while being monitored and controlled from a centralized operations center in Bastrop, Texas. The setup looked a lot closer to SpaceX's mission control than a traditional tunnel boring machine's control room. According to the Boring Company, the Bastrop Operations Center now serves as the central control hub for machines operating in Las Vegas, Nashville, and eventually Dubai as well. That is a pretty big shift because traditionally tunneling is an extremely localized and manual industry. The Boring Company is clearly trying to change that model, and one of the biggest examples is something called continuous mining. Traditional tunnel boring often works in stages. The machine digs forward, then stops while workers install concrete lining segments behind it. Once that section is complete, the machine advances again. Prufrock is designed to do both simultaneously. While the cutter head continues digging forward, the machine also installs tunnel lining behind itself. That allows tunneling to become a much more continuous industrial process. The Bastrop Control Center reflects that same philosophy on a larger scale. Instead of treating every tunnel project like an isolated construction effort, the Boring Company is standardizing operations so a single centralized team can oversee multiple projects across different cities all at once. That starts to make the company look less like a traditional construction contractor and more like an automation company running a fleet of machines remotely. That same shift towards standardization is showing up in how the company handles regulation, too. Earlier this week, Clark County commissioners approved a new ordinance designed specifically around the future expansion of the Vegas Loop. On the surface, it covered permitting, tunnel safety standards, fire response ventilation, and operational guidelines. But the bigger story is what those rules actually represent. Las Vegas is treating the Vegas Loop like a permanent transportation infrastructure that's expected to scale long-term. The new ordinance creates a more standardized framework for future expansion, which could dramatically speed up permitting for new tunnel segments. Boring Company President Steve Davis previously told the Las Vegas Review-Journal that each new tunnel permit can take up to 6 months to clear. But because Vegas Loop tunnels follow a standardized design, the Boring Company hopes future approvals can eventually become far more repeatable, similar to how SpaceX gradually streamlined its own launch approvals as its rocket operations matured. That matters because the long-term vision for Las Vegas is enormous. The full Vegas Loop calls for roughly 68 miles of tunnels and more than 100 stations connecting the Strip, the airport, and dozens of major destinations across the city. Clark County Commissioner Jim Gibson put it simply this week, saying the project is now ready to explode. At this point, that might not be an exaggeration. Tesla's full self-driving rollout in Europe is starting to pick up real speed. This week, Tesla received regulatory approval to deploy FSD supervised in Lithuania, making it the second European country to activate the system after the Netherlands. What's interesting about Lithuania's approval is how fast it happened. The Netherlands became the first EU country to approve FSD supervised back in April, after the Dutch Vehicle Authority spent more than 18 months evaluating the system using 1.12 million miles of European driving data. That process was long and deliberate, but it also created a regulatory blueprint for Tesla that other countries can adopt directly. Lithuania used the EU's mutual recognition framework to leverage the Dutch approval instead of starting from scratch. Basically, this means the Netherlands did the hard regulatory work first, and Lithuania was able to approve FSD supervised for its local roads in less than 40 days, which is exactly the kind of momentum Tesla was hoping to build. And it was not entirely without groundwork either. Tesla quietly opened FSD ride-along experiences at its Vilnius showroom starting in late April, giving Lithuanian residents a chance to experience the system firsthand. The company also began hiring FSD vehicle operators in Lithuania and 8 other European countries around the same time. So while the approval may have looked sudden publicly, Tesla has clearly been preparing for it behind the scenes. And Greece appears to be next in line. The Greek Secretary General of Transport has stated publicly that Greece wants to adopt FSD supervised using the same Dutch framework as part of an upcoming transportation bill. Greece had actually hoped to be the second European country to approve FSD supervised, but Lithuania beat them to the punch. Still, third in Europe puts Greece ahead of every other country on the continent. The pattern is becoming clear. Rather than waiting for a slow continent-wide approval process, Tesla is building country-by-country momentum using mutual recognition rules already built into the European system. And the mileage numbers are reflecting that momentum. Tesla Europe announced this week that drivers in the Netherlands and Lithuania have collectively logged more than 12.5 million miles or 20 million kilometers with FSD supervised active. That milestone came less than 3 days after the same markets crossed 9.3 million miles, or 15 kilometers, meaning roughly 3 million miles were added in under 72 hours. For context, Dutch Tesla owners alone surpassed 6.2 million miles in under a month after launch. And those miles matter for more than just bragging rights. Every mile driven feeds real-world data back into Tesla's FSD training and validation pipeline, helping the system get better at handling European road conditions, traffic patterns, and infrastructure. Tesla also noted that when FSD supervised is active, the probability of a collision per kilometer driven is up to 7 times lower compared to manual driving. That is the kind of statistic that tends to get regulators' attention. For the first time, Tesla's European FSD rollout is starting to look like the early stages of something much bigger.